My daughter came to visit for Mother's Day, and when she was here, she showed me this little coin purse she had that was filled with these little tiny ducks. They were so cute. So when she was just about walking out the door to drive home, she said to me, "I have hidden 6 tiny little ducks around your house, and now you have to go find them." The most brilliant thing about that, and I don't even know if she realized it at the time, is I am a pretty happy-go-lucky person. I mean, I can pretty much figure out how to have fun in any situation. But when my daughter leaves, when she's come for a visit, I get sad. Really sad. Super sad the first day, medium sad the second day, and then the third day after she's left, I'm kind of getting back into life again. It's, you know, guys, how it is. We love our kids so much and they feel so much like home. And when she leaves, it just leaves a big empty place in my heart. It's not so bad when I go visit her, but having her in my house and hanging out with her and just being together feels so comforting that when she leaves, it's hard on me. But here's the cool thing. When she left these ducks, I was so busy looking for the ducks, I wasn't nearly as sad. So here's one of the ducks where she hid it. And let me tell you something about these ducks. They have magical spiritual qualities where they can dematerialize and materialize. I swear to you, I have looked in this area of my house several times a day since she left and did not see that little duck. I didn't see it. And then it materialized again and it showed up when I was bouncing up and down on my rebounder. So they're magical little ducks, and that's one of them, and I left it right there kind of as a little memento. So I think we started a little game of duck that will probably persist for years to go. I think she got them off of Amazon. They're tiny, they're little. Here, let me pick one up. You can see they're just little tiny, and I think they're probably pretty inexpensive. And one of the things that I think she does is when she goes to a restaurant or something, she'll leave a little duck for the waitress, you know, with the tip and that sort of thing. So cute idea. And I guess ducks now are going to be a part of my life. So many of you have asked me for a pattern for the market bags that I crochet. I usually show them during my Boss Event lives. If you haven't seen one of those or what the market bags look like, this is one of the market bags. Isn't that cute? And I crochet them. I'm kind of a fanatical crocheter, not because, I don't know, why do I do it? It's relaxing and I enjoy it. And it's really hard for me to just sit. And if I want to just sit and relax for a few minutes, then I'll sit and crochet, and that's easier for me. So I always have a crochet project right next to me where I sit on the couch all the time. This is a little sterling silver-plated tray or dish that I got thrifting, and this is what I keep my crochet project in, and it sits on the table right next to where I sit. So I sit down and crochet probably anywhere from 3 to 10 or 12 times during the day. I'll just sit down for a few minutes and crochet a few rounds and off I go. Well, I did a sale for the market bags that I had made over the last several months, and they sold out really quick, like in 10 minutes or something. Everybody loved them. And I've had a lot of you say, "Can you send me the pattern?" Well, the thing is, I don't have a pattern. I don't do patterns. I don't think I'm smart enough for patterns. But I did put together this little design that I just do on my own. I wing it. But again, you guys have said, "Can you send me the pattern? How do you do it?" This and that. And I know not all of you are crocheters. A few of you are. But I thought I would kind of show you how I do it because it's super easy. If you know even the most basic crochet stitches, you can do this so easy. And here's the thing that I love about it, and the reason why I keep making these bags. It is so soothing and so comforting and so satisfying and so relaxing to just be able to sit down, crochet a few rounds, I think a little bit, plan what I'm going to do next. It's just lovely. If I did not have crochet in my life, I'd be doing something else with my hands because it's just that soothing. You know, when we do with our hands, it's nurturing. It feels good to our soul. So that's why I do it. So today I'm going to go over really quickly how you can make one of these market bags yourself. And I'm telling you, ladies, if you know even those basic crochet stitches, or if you just want to learn a basic crochet stitch, you can do this. And it's so easy and it's so fun. So first of all, I do my market bags double yarn because I want them to be very, very sturdy. So I am always working with 2 balls of yarn, which is why I use this tray, because the 2 balls of yarn sit in the tray and then I just feed more yarn out and crochet with that. So I always do double yarn, and one of the yarn in the double needs to be cotton because cotton has a little less give to it, and you don't want the market bags to stretch a lot. They're going to stretch a little bit, but you don't want them to stretch out so much that it doesn't feel comfortable holding your things from the farmer's market in your market bag. So I make sure that one of the balls of yarn is cotton and the other can be cotton as well, or a wool blend. I use all natural fibers. I don't use any acrylic or anything. I'll use cotton, hand-dyed wool. I will use some bamboo, which I like as well. So I'm always working with 2 balls of yarn. To start the bag, you want to start at the bottom with the base. And what you want to do is just single crochet. The entire bag is single crochet. Easiest stitch in the world. Truly easiest stitch. And the whole bag is single crochet. So you want to single crochet back and forth the bottom of the bag. And this is the bottom that I would use for a bag. And how big do you make it? As big as you want it. I've done them smaller, I've done them bigger, but it's just back and forth, single crochet until you feel like you've got a good enough size for the bottom of the bag. Now, keep in mind, you don't need a big, huge bottom because the bag itself is going to expand. I have found that this is just about right, and I'll put it up here for size. I don't know how long it is or how wide it is. I just wing it. So, you know, it's about shoulder to shoulder, and then, you know, however wide you want it. So this is the bottom of the bag. Once you get done with this, and it's the size that you want, what you start doing then is you just start single crocheting around this base. So you're going to just go around and around and around the base. So you're going to go across this line right here, and then you're going to single crochet down here, and then you're going to single crochet along here and single crochet along here, and you just keep going around and around and around. Most patterns, particularly on YouTube, have you do a round, slip stitch, and then start the next round. I don't do that for 2 reasons. First of all, I don't want to be fussing about where I started. And second of all, I don't particularly care for that line that you end up seeing on the market bag from that slip stitch. I just go round and round. And I'm fine with the fact that every stitch is a little higher and it's not completely straight. It has a slight angle because we're just going around and around. I'm fine with it. So far, I have never had anybody come up to me and say, "You're 1 stitch off on that market bag, I can tell." People don't care. They don't care. So this is how it starts. And then when you start going around and around and around, this is what happens. Here, let me get mine. So it starts curling up. And can you see it's the beginning of the bag right there? Just single crochet all the way around and it starts curling up. And this is all there is to it. You just keep going until the bag is as tall as you want it. And if it's too wide in some areas, you can drop a stitch on either side and bring it in a little smaller. It just depends. So this is how the bag itself is formed right there. So once you've single crocheted all the way up, and I change color a lot. Sometimes I'll change, one color out to another color. Sometimes I'll change both colors. It just depends. And you can be really creative in the yarns that you use and the texture and the color and all of it. And you can make a really, really interesting and creative bag. So this is the second step, is building up the sides of the bag. And then when the bag is as tall as you want it, this one here is a smaller bag, so it's as tall as I want it. When it comes to creating the handles, what I do is I just measure it off from both sides where I want the handles to start. And then I just duplicate that with the stitch marker on the other side. So both my handles are in the same size, and I use stitch markers. And then I just chain the handles. I found that 50 chains is just about right for a nice size to put over your shoulders. So I have both handles that are chained on each side with 50 stitches. And then you just keep going around and around again. And instead of going in between here, you go up and around the handle with your single crochet. Now, one of the things that I do is when I go up this handle, I will drop a stitch right in this area here so it has a smoother curve. It doesn't kind of gap there because of the way that the yarn is hanging from it being a handle. So I'll come around here, up this chain, drop a stitch right in that little elbow area right there, go around and then down again, and then just keep going around and around the handles and around. And boom, before you know it, you've got a market bag just like this one. And you can see the handles fold in nicely because I dropped a stitch every time I got to that little elbow. So that's the entire market bag right there. For the handles, I have found that probably 5 or 6 rounds make the width that is good enough to keep it nice and sturdy and very, very comfortable. So that's the skinny on the market bags. And as far as a pattern or a stitch count, I don't do any of that. I just kind of figure it out in my head how it's going to go together, sit down, start working on it, and I have a ball. Here's one of the things I want to encourage you about giving one of these a try is they work up pretty doggone quickly, particularly if you just sit down for a few minutes every now and then to work on it. You get a nice little, something special pretty darn quickly. It's not like a blanket that can take months and sometimes the entire winter to do. So that's the skinny on the market bags. If you have any questions, put it in the comments down below. I am adding Blueberry Farmer onto my resume. Look at these blueberries. Aren't they gorgeous? Those are from the plants I planted just a few months ago, and I'm loving them. It's so nice to have fresh blueberries, organic, that I grew in the evening. So here is the blueberry farm, and if it looks like something out of Charlie Brown's Halloween ghost videos, I understand. I had picked up a bunch of tulle. Is that what you call it? The fabric that's really light and gauzy. And I was going to wrap my blueberry plants in the tulle. And then I found these on Amazon. They're so stinking cheap. Well, affordable. They're very, very affordable. And so I got a packet of 4. And these now protect my blueberry plants from the birds eating all my goodies. And they're super easy to use. They have a drawstring at the bottom, and then they have a zipper that you can unzip and pick your blueberries. So it's just been really, really handy because I've been able to keep all the blueberries and not have to share them with the birds. Now this plant, who remembers how sad and pathetic that looked? It did not like being replanted, but it's come back beautifully, and look, it's got lots of fruit on it. So it has just been so fun to grow these blueberry plants. So here is one of the plants and the little covering unzipped. You can see how handy it is because you can just get in there and pick and zip it back up, and you know the birds aren't going to be taking your blueberries. Here is some of the ripening blueberries. They're so delicious and so fun. Some of the plants, I got 4 different varieties because I wanted to see which one I really liked. Some of them fruit early, some of them fruit mid-season, and some are late season. So I'm not sure how long each is going to bloom, but I'm going to go ahead and just keep track of the ones that I really like. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at all the fruit on these plants. There's been so much, I've been sharing them with the neighbors. So big success on the blueberry farm. It was really, really worth it. We had a power outage a few days ago, and oh my gosh, at first I didn't realize that it was, a town-wide power outage. I thought it was just my place. I've had a few issues with that. This was built out in an interesting way, so I'm never quite 100% confident in the infrastructure. So I went out and I checked the breakers and nothing was flipped there. And then I checked the reset outlet and that didn't solve any problem. And then I kind of was catching on that, oh, maybe it's not just me. And what I did is I texted a neighbor who works for the local electric company, and she said, oh my gosh, yeah, it's huge power outage. There's thousands of homes all the way to a neighboring town. And it was about 5:30 in the evening. And she said, it's not going to be back on until the middle of the night, like 1:30 or 2. I said, well, I guess we're all going to bed early tonight. And she's so funny. She texted back. She says, actually, that sounds kind of good. She's got young kids. So I imagine her was like, oh my gosh, a little peace and quiet. I can go to bed early and have a good excuse. Anyway, what happened next is I found how stinking handy something I had prepared was. And I did not come up with this idea, you guys. I learned this on YouTube, where I learned most of the things that, I infiltrate into my life. And that is putting together a blackout bag. Now, this is just a tote bag that I had around the house. It doesn't have anything to do with the contents of that bag. This is such a great idea. It's called a blackout bag, like I just said. It's not like a to-go bag, which is, what you want to have prepared if there's a big emergency like a fire or some type of natural disaster. You want to have a to-go bag all packed with everything that you need, your family needs, your pet needs, so you can just grab it and get in the car and go. That's a go bag. This is different. This is a blackout bag for when the lights go out. And I actually had put it together a few weeks before this big blackout. It came in so handy, so stinking handy. Here's what it does. It is just that little bridge that you may need from going to no electricity to being able to kind of get what you need going until the electricity comes back on. In my situation, because we're in, almost close to summer now, it was still very light when the lights went out. Now, it could have been in the middle of winter where 5:30 or 6 o'clock, it's dark already. And I could have been busy in the middle of making dinner, and all of a sudden, I've got no light at all. What do? I go grab my blackout bag. What goes in your blackout bag? Just enough to keep you going and get things settled. And mostly what it is ways to get light into your life. The first thing in my little blackout bag is one of these handy dandy camping lights, and this will give you light to turn off the stove or see to what you need to do so you can get yourself either into bed to wait for the lights to come back on or on the couch or something. So a little light right here. And again, I didn't think of this. This was some handy guy on YouTube that did that. The next thing that is in here is a little flashlight. Now, I know that we all have flashlights. I've got them everywhere, like by the front door, by my bed, in my car. These are so handy, but having it in the blackout bag made it really, really easy because I just grabbed the bag and everything was in there. So I've got the little flashlight. This is a tiny one. It's really handy. It does a bunch of different kind of wild stuff. Anyway, it's good. So I had my flashlight. Then I have extra batteries in here that go to both the light and the flashlight, just in case, this was packed up months and months and months ago and the batteries are dead. You've got fresh batteries right here. So if one or the other of these need fresh batteries, you can turn the one on and put the fresh batteries in the other one. So you want two sources of light and batteries that will work for both of them. If they're different sizes, put different sizes in your blackout bag, and then you're all set to go. The next thing that's in here is one of those little portable chargers. I'll tell you what, I was so stinking happy to have that because when the power went out, my phone was on maybe, 32% or something, which for me is like almost empty. I know the kids will go around with a 10% charge. I can't do that. So I have a phone charger right here or something to charge any device that you need along with the cord. I took this out and I started charging my phone, and before I knew it, my phone was all charged up, so I had it good to go for the remainder of the evening. So make sure you have a cord and a charger. If you don't have one of these are so stinking handy, and there's lots of different varieties of them. I'll put the ones that I've got, and the other things that I picked up. Most of them are from Amazon. I'll put them in the description box down below. These are so handy. I have several of them actually, and I keep them all charged up because if you run out of power, it's an issue, and these will hold a lot of power for a long time. The other thing I have is one of these little fire starters right here. Why do I have it in here? I don't know, just in case I've got power to start fire. And it might come in handy. And then the one thing that I would add to the blackout bag, which I did not have in mine, but thank heavens I had my glasses on at the time, is I would put a pair of glasses, like some readers, in the blackout bag. Because if you're washing your face and you don't know where you put your glasses and the lights go out and it's stinking dark, you can get your glasses super easy in your blackout bag. So it's helpful because you can stick your glasses on, grab your flashlight, go around the house, get what you need, and you'll be all set. Anyway, I am so glad that I saw that video on a blackout bag because I had my bag all together. Now, where would you want to keep this? I would suggest that you keep it in the middle area of your house. An area, maybe a coat closet, a hallway closet, something like that, that if you get stuck in a room and it's dark and you can't see, that you can just feel your way to that central area in your house, and you have it in a really easy place to grab, like on a hook right inside the door or something like that. The last thing you want to do is trip over something or hurt yourself on the way to getting your blackout bag. So I would make it in a place easy to get to that you can feel your way there if it's dark. Open up whatever cupboard or door and be able to grab it really, really quickly. So I hope I have encouraged you to put together a blackout bag. It came in so stinking handy to me. And again, let's go over. Nice little camping light. This will give you a lot of light for lots of hours. Nice handy little flashlight. Now this is in addition to all the flashlights you have around your house. Make sure this one stays in the blackout bag and you don't poach it for another reason. Make sure it's there when you need it. Backup batteries for both sources of light, both your camping light and your flashlight. In case one of them is not working due to no power from the batteries, you'll be able to change out the batteries and be all set. A little bit of fire, just in case. a portable charger and a charging cord for your phone, super important. And then the icing on the cake is a pair of glasses so you can see what you're doing. Well, that's what I have for you today. I hope you found this video fun, useful, and helpful. You guys know it just makes my day when you take a few minutes out of your day to spend it with me. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where we talk everything beauty, fitness, and lifestyle for the over 50 and over 60 woman. Make it a great day, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye now.